Good morning, Fed Phoenix fam. So I know I haven't posted an update in a while, so I wanted to do that, and then I'll actually it's been a few months since I posted an update or a video of any sort, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, I just came home from prison. Now it's been about 5 months, and during that time to current, I have reacclimated, I guess, myself to being a person in the free world and no longer being an inmate, which I really didn't realize when I was incarcerated how much, my I don't know, just kind of my demeanor had somewhat changed, and my reactions to things had changed, and so when I came home, I had some post incarceration baggage, to say the least, put it mildly. For the first, 2, 3 months, it was extremely stressful. Like, on one hand, I was super motivated to like get back my life and rebuild and get my people to where they should be, because I have people in the free world who kind of need my support in some way or another to really live their best lives, to be comfortable. Um and so, and the things I do for these people, whether it's paperwork, making appointments, taking them to run errands, taking them to appointments, just whatever it is, whatever capacity that I assist them. While I was incarcerated, they didn't have that. And so their lives became far more difficult, and kind of a lot of things that just routinely need to be done got behind during my incarceration. So when I came home, not only was I just highly motivated, and it was kind of a mad dash almost, to get my life together and rebuild, a life that I'm happy and I'm comfortable, but also to do that, to assist those that I love that are close to me with theirs as well. You know what I mean? And the first like 2 or 3 months, it gave me so much anxiety to like drive, or anytime I would see the police, I would just feel like I'm going to throw up, because I know from experience that not all cops are good cops. Some people use the badge to play out their personal prejudices or personal vendettas and whatever. And the little guy, people like me, you know, um, often fall victim to that, and you don't have much recourse to protect yourself or defend yourself. And if you're foolish enough to try to, for those of us who live in the lower income brackets, the consequences are great. And so every time I would see law enforcement of any type, I would feel physically sick, because I had this paranoia that if I had any interaction with them, somehow this would result in me going back to prison, even though I was doing nothing wrong, and even though I had, even though these individual people and these individual incidences may not have been bad people who abused their position, but I didn't know that, and I don't know that. You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to pretend that I'm even comfortable now, around these types of individuals. Although it's gotten to the point now where, being around them doesn't just put me on edge and make me feel like it's almost like your fight or flight, response kind of triggers. I'm not triggered by them anymore. You know what I mean? Their presence, the fact that they just simply are within society. And by default, you're going to occasionally come across them or have some small interaction with them. And I've gotten to a point now where I can maneuver through that without it being a very stressful situation. And then even driving, I'm not a super experienced driver. I'm not, people who know me would say I'm not a good driver, but as they say on a what is it, on The Hangover? But did you die? You know what I mean? That's generally my response. If you didn't die because of my driving, who are you to have opinion of it in a negative light? But but now I can comfortably, drive around and so a lot of the things that we take for granted in life, when I first came home, I know that when you come home from the Fed, you have 72 hours to report to probation. That same day, I was calling the probation office and calling and calling. And because I wanted to make sure that I didn't go back to prison for not doing that part. You know what I mean? And so, and come to find out, my PO was actually on vacation when I came out of prison, and we didn't actually meet until nearly 2 weeks after I'd been home. But until I actually was able to speak to him on the phone, I was just constantly 24/7 paranoid, having nightmares that the feds were kicking in, my relative's door that I was staying at and dragging me back to prison because I didn't report to probation. I mean, it was just very, very, there was a lot of very scary transitional things for me. And I say that not to say, oh, woe is me, or oh, how sad, or oh, how difficult, but really just to illustrate that, if you would have told me while I was incarcerated that when I came home, I would have a difficult adjustment period in some ways, I would have said, you're crazy. Being home is wonderful, and it certainly is, particularly compared to being incarcerated. But, so what's hard about that? I mean, how could you not just be overjoyed 24/7? And, I did a short bid, I was only in prison for a year and a half, a little under a year and a half. And so I really didn't think that my being incarcerated had impacted me the way that when I came home, I realized it had. So, and then, so aside from kind of processing and sorting through all that, the baggage I didn't even realize I brought with me out of prison. But, in the last 5 months, I have regained full custody of my one child who's underage. Those of you who don't know or have never been to prison, when you go to prison, if you have children, unless you're happily married and your spouse is waiting it out for you, then there's no need for family courts and all that. But if you're a single parent, or if you're divorced, a lot of times, there ends up being custody issues that have to be arranged, or sorted, prior to your incarceration, because you can't be the primary custodian, the primary guardian of a child while you're incarcerated, because you can't do what a guardian needs to do. You can't do what a parent needs to do. Which is a very difficult and humbling reality, even day to day in prison, to really come to terms with and keep in perspective to where it doesn't just crush you. But so in the 5 months I've been home, I've regained custody of my youngest child, full custody. I have a vehicle, nothing exciting or fancy, but it gets from point A to point B, and that's the purpose, and it serves that. A few months ago, I got me and my youngest child, the one who's still underage, our own place. And it was so surreal almost, especially like a few times since we've moved, my child has stayed overnight, with family. And, the first time I was home in my home alone, post incarceration, was very surreal. I mean, it was a good experience, but it was also very surreal for me, because you got to remember that months prior to my incarceration, I had gave up having, my own place renting and moved in with family. I was renting a room. So from months prior to my incarceration, during my incarceration, the first couple months after my incarceration, so now we're talking a span of over 2 years, I had pretty much zero privacy, and zero, I like things a certain way and done a certain way. And I like my home very clean and very organized, and just I'm very particular about things. But for 2 years, having an environment where I could live that particularness wasn't part of my life. And now it is again. And it was really, really surreal in a lot of ways. And honestly, I didn't even sleep good my first night in my actual home alone. Because as much as I was elated and the situation was very surreal, I almost felt like you get this sense once you've been through the injustice system, and once you've been incarcerated, and especially if during your incarceration you faced further injustices. And being incarcerated, period, is a very oppressive environment and experience. But you get this weird thing happens where when you come home, you're back in the free world, even when there's no logical basis, even when you're doing nothing at all wrong, especially, fresh out, there are a lot of times where when anything is outside of routine, you worry that you're going to get in trouble, that you're doing something wrong. You get this paranoia like, something bad is about to happen. And that kept kind of coming in waves, during that. And so it was really just, it's difficult to explain. It really is. But, and my youngest child, of course, is enrolled in school and, playing soccer now. Guess who's a soccer mom? Fed Phoenix. Bet you would have never seen that coming, because I certainly didn't. And one of the things that's kind of held me up on making additional content as well is the fact that my original YouTube channel, Fed Phoenix, 2 words. Um, I lost it when I came home. I no longer had the phone number that I used when I made the account. I no longer had the access to the email that I used to make the account. So I couldn't log in. So I couldn't post. I couldn't see who commented and respond to comments, and I just couldn't move forward with it. You know what I mean? And I've called the Googleplex half a dozen times. Every time you wait on hold for hours, and I've really been trying to get it back, trying to regain control. And in the meantime, I had made a backup YouTube channel, Fed Phoenix 2, all one word, the number 2. And I kind of told myself, I'll just use Fed Phoenix 2 just to kind of add content and continue to share my journey. But ultimately, I'll get control of the original Fed Phoenix channel back. And when I do, I'll transfer the videos from the new channel, from the new channel back to the original channel, and just go from there. And once I regain control of this original channel, that's when I will, try to more aggressively market my channel. That's when I will try to. So, over the winter, I plan to write a book, largely based on the memoirs I wrote while I was incarcerated. But I kept telling myself that a lot of my efforts to grow, Fed Phoenix, I guess, as a brand, for lack of a better term, would kind of be put on hold until I regained control of that original YouTube channel. But I kind of had an epiphany a few days ago, and I was like, no. Like, I spent a long time putting things in my life on hold that I wanted to do or that mattered to me when I was on bond with the state for a year and a half. And then finally, they dismissed all those charges because they had no basis for them, other than just, intimidation or whatever. And then for a few months, I have my life back. And then boom, federal target letter. Then for the next, 9 months, I went through the federal, process. And again, things have to be put on hold because I'm impending prison. I'm going to prison, and I don't know how long and what that will entail, and when that's over, what my life will look like in the free world. So there have been a lot of times since 2019, since my door got kicked in, so 4 years ago, that there have been so many things that I've put on hold because of my legal situation, that I've put on hold because the future was so much a wild card, so unforeseeable. And now I'm like, F that. I'm not putting nothing else on hold. I am moving forward with my life proactively, aggressively, and with purpose. And with a security, a sense of security that sometimes I have, and sometimes I just got to kind of fake it till I make it. Because sometimes, again, the psychological baggage of this journey, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, once you've been home for a little while and you kind of adjust, you acclimate, all the psychological baggage of being incarcerated and just everything that leads up to that is going to dissipate, and you will be the person you were before this ever happened. No, you're not. And that's okay. That's normal. That's human. It is what it is. So what I did is this YouTube channel you're watching this on, I originally had named Fed Phoenix 2 as one word with, the number 2. And then I said, no, my original channel is Fed Phoenix, which is just 2 separate words, Fed and Phoenix. So I'm just going to knock the 2 off of the second channel and just make it Fed Phoenix as one word. And I'm just going to move forward as though this is my original channel, and I'm going to focus my attention on growing this one rather than, making a half effort to grow this one. And then, but when I get the original back, that's when I'll really, post more content and really make an effort. No, I'm doing it now. No more waiting. No more waiting for things that do not have to be waited for. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I'm getting it together. So, anywho, this is my 5 months post-incarceration update. And like I said, with the Fed Phoenix, I intend to get a book written, a final draft kind of done over the winter. I'm wanting to self-publish through Amazon because I'm going to need to self-publish for free, because this is what we're working with here, The PayPal on my original Fed Phoenix channel, I no longer have access to either. The email on that one, I no longer have access to it. The only thing still that I have access to is the PayPal or the Cash App account that's mentioned on that channel because it's still my Cash App. Thankfully, I still have access to that. But it's still a lot of good information. And it definitely, gives a person the insight of the journey and my journey from target letter to self-surrender. And I think, I have people contacting me periodically who are going through that or who have loved ones going through that, and they want advice, they want insights, they want to know what I went through. And I always tell them, go to the original Fed Phoenix channel, watch some videos, and if you have questions after that, come to me. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to help you and answer your questions and be as supportive as I can. But a lot of what people ask me is readily available here on YouTube on my original channel. So, but anyway, so this is me. Definitely still obviously, in the rebuilding stage of my life, and but things are on a good level. Oh, and I've lost like 20 something, almost 30 pounds since I came home from prison. I'm getting my health together. I really need an abdominal surgery. And I know for that surgery to be a long-term success, I have to have a lower BMI and less visceral fat, like less like organ fat. So I'm very proactively working on that as well. I'm here. So no matter what you're going through right now, Fed Phoenix fam, remember this is just a slice of your life, and you will get through it because you have to. And if you would like to donate to the channel, which of course just means donate to me growing the Fed Phoenix brand, donate to me having gas in my car, because, a lot of YouTubers are, donate to the channel, grow the channel, which is great and true. You know what I mean? I mean, I could probably come up with better quality videos if I had a greater budget to make them. But you're also, really just assisting that individual, in their day to day. And I think that needs to be acknowledged. That needs to be acknowledged as what a lot of that funding goes towards. And, because I don't believe in asking or suggesting something under false pretense that causes another person to give something. So, but anyhow, if you like to support the channel, support the channel. The Cash App is the Phoenix 2020. Of course, $ like all cash tags, and then the with a capital T, Phoenix with a capital P, like the city, the Phoenix 2020. I would very much appreciate any support. But but even if you're just here, you're just watching my videos, please like, subscribe. All that helps the cause. All that helps me not only know that I'm being supported in my journey and in my endeavors, but more importantly, helps support the channel is supporting me and helping me in my journey, my effort to use my experience to help others get through their experiences. And I think that's really fundamental. I think that's really important. And, like the old saying, each one teach one, the more that I'm empowered and able to share my journey, the more I can help others in this journey, or others who have loved ones going through this journey, people that are curious about, this journey. Or just people that have no association with incarceration or pre or post incarceration, but just have a general curiosity, because I think the more the general public knows, what people face, if we can take the scary mask off of felon and off of criminal and off of prisoner, and humanize people, I think that really can do a lot for people caring about the injustice system becoming a justice system, for seeing people through this journey as human beings and being able to empathize with them and share the human experience with them. And I think that's vital to people maintaining their humanity through incarceration and after. So anyway, that's my thoughts. That's what's going on right now. It's a quick update. I will be posting a lot more content soon. So, if you're a subscriber, if you like the video, please hit notifications all. I think if you hit customized, YouTube does some weird thing I don't understand, because I'm obviously not very tech savvy. But and I'm really, I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time. And we're going to get through this, Fed Phoenix fam, because we have to. And no matter what you're going through, again, it is just a slice of your life. And you will get through it. So I'm going to post more content soon. And until next time, y'all take care.